Every year I try and take a winter road trip in Japan to stay in a couple of nice, relaxing onsen or hot spring hotels, have some great food, and just relax. Traveling off the beaten path and driving outside of popular inbound tourist hotspots have a funny way of slowing you down. The roads get quieter, the mountains close in, and sometimes you pull over for something you weren't really looking for at all. This was exactly what happened to me this time when visiting some hot spring hotels in rural Nara and Tsu City in Mie. During the trip, I accidentally stopped at the place where the historical Southern Court of Japan quietly ended with a lot of bloodshed, and almost nobody talks about it. Welcome back to the channel about all things Japan. But before we get started, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video and channel to anyone you might think would like it. It helps a lot. As mentioned before, when the holidays roll around, I like to escape the city, throw some bags in the car, and head out to more rural areas of Japan. Now honestly, this usually can't just be done on a whim during holiday season here, as you probably have to make hotel reservations well in advance, but as to what else you do on your trip, anything goes. My trip started as always in my home base of Nagoya, heading south through the mountains, crossing into Nara Prefecture, and aiming for the tiny village called Kawakami. I had never heard of it before, but it looked very rural, pretty easily accessible by car, and should be a nice scenic drive. Kawakami sits deep in the Yoshino mountains. There are no big stations, no crowds, just forests, rivers, and the kind of silence that feels very old. I arrived at my hotel in good order. For those interested, and I'll put the info below in the comments, it's called Hotel Suginoyu, and it's a pretty standard and authentic traditional Japanese hot spring hotel. It has a nice lobby, spacious rooms. I personally always book ones with western beds, though you can book tatami rooms with futons if you so choose. A nice view, and a great onsen or hot springs. Booking these hotels on English sites can sometimes be a bit daunting, as there are various meal options to choose from. So I always check out the Japanese booking sites as well. We booked both dinner and breakfast, and they definitely didn't disappoint. Here's a quick peek at our sukiyaki dinner, with wagyu beef of course. As usual with this style of meal, there are lots of interesting little dishes to explore, as well as the main dish. There usually is a personalized menu for your meal, but chances are it will only be in Japanese. You can use a translation app if you're very curious, but I would just go for it, regardless of what you are actually eating. It all tastes great. Breakfast was a slightly smaller version of the same, with authentic Japanese dishes. The next day, we made our way to the next onsen hotel in neighboring Mie Prefecture, in the rural outskirts of Tsu City. We stayed at the CoCoPa Resort Club Hotel. Now this was a slightly different type of experience, as it was on a spacious golf course, and we stayed in actual cabins rather than the main building, but it was not less enjoyable. The food was also great with a shabu-shabu wagyu beef dinner, and a buffet-style breakfast where you can mix and match whatever you feel like eating. Japanese style, or Western style, or a mix of both. But now to the unexpected part. Along the way from one hotel to the next, something by the roadside caught my eye. Along National Route 169, I came upon a small cluster of stone monuments. No souvenir shops, no tour bus, no English signs screaming for attention, just stone. And one phrase that stopped me completely. The last battlefield of the Southern Court. Which is not what you expect to read in the middle of nowhere. This place is called the Okubi-zaishi Site. Literally, the stone where a head was placed. And yes, that head in this case belonged to a prince. To understand why this matters, we need to zoom out for a moment. In the 1300s, Japan wasn't unified under one emperor. There were two rival imperial courts. The Northern Court, backed by the Ashikaga shogunate in Kyoto, and the Southern Court, which fled into the mountains of Yoshino after losing power. In 1392, the two courts officially reunified. On paper, the fighting was over. But history, as usual, didn't really cooperate. Some loyalists refused to accept the outcome. They believed the Southern Court was the true imperial line. The lingering resistance became known as the later Southern Court. And one of its last heirs was a young man known as Jitenno, a descendant of Emperor Go-Kameyama, the final Southern Court emperor. Jitenno was hiding in these mountains, protected by local warriors and villagers, waiting for a chance to regain the throne that never came. In 1457, that fragile refuge collapsed. Agents connected to the remnants of the Akamatsu clan tracked Jitenno down. He was betrayed, attacked, and killed. His head, along with the imperial sacred seal, one of the 3 sacred treasures of Japan, was taken and meant to be carried back to Kyoto. But they never made it far. Local samurai from Kawakami ambushed the group near the Yoshino River. A master archer named Onishi Sugegoro shot down the enemy leader. The head and the sacred seal were recovered, and right here on a large riverside rock, they placed Jitenno's head, offered prayers, and wept. The rock became known as the Okubi-zaishi, the final quiet heartbeat of the Southern Court. But that's not the end of the story. There is one surprising part. The actual stone, the original Okubi-zaishi, is gone. It was washed away in 1959 by the Ise Bay typhoon, one of the deadliest storms in modern Japanese history. Later they built a large dam, which you can visit here as well, which submerged the original battlefield entirely. What stands here now is a marker, more of a memory of a memory. And yet, every year on February 5th, villagers still hold a memorial ceremony at Kongoji Temple, where Jitenno is believed to be buried. Over 560 years later. No theme parks, no rebranding, just quiet remembrance. It's the kind of place where time feels kind of optional and very Japanese, which honestly fits the surrounding landscape. What stuck me most on this trip wasn't just the hot springs or the food, both of which were great. It was the realization that in Japan, history doesn't always live behind ropes or museum glass. Sometimes it's just there, waiting to be found. Kawakami Village doesn't advertise itself as the place where a dynasty ended, but maybe that's the point. If you're visiting Japan and you only go where the crowds go, you miss places like this. So the next time you visit, try renting a car. Take the long way around. Turn off the main road. Stop at stones you don't recognize. Japan's quiet stories are often the ones that stay with you the longest. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy slow travel, hidden history, and accidental discoveries like this, consider subscribing to the channel. And again, like and share the video if you enjoyed it. There's a lot more of Japan waiting off the beat.